do. Um, okay, so welcome everyone to the Math and Stats information session as part of the Everything Science 2020 Science Orientation. I'll go over, like I always do, a couple of kind of housekeeping things to keep in mind. I see most people, as they've come in, turn off your audio and visual. That way it kind of keeps the bandwidth down and make sure that as Tara or Dr. Fan are saying something, it doesn't cut out on something very important. And there will be a chance for questions at the very end or as we get to them in between the presentations. I'll also just kind of add in to please keep the chat appropriate to the discussion that we're having. With that, I'll pass over to Tara Stuckless.
Thank you, Carter. Hello, everyone. My name is Tara Stuckless, as you can see there. I'm the program officer in Math and Stats. So kind of like the assistant to the head in terms of dealing with undergrad issues. So if you have a deferred exam, you talk to me. If you had a general question that wouldn't be directed to your professor, I might be the person where you'd start to make your inquiries. So what I'm going to do, I'll keep an eye on the chat for questions, but I just wanted to introduce you to the major programs that we offer, talk about why, I'm assuming that you're all interested in doing a science degree, but so why mathematics is something you really want to think about, show you, just orient you to our website and where you can find the information that you're going to need as you go through your courses and your programs. So to begin, I'll say, I'm a bit biased. I love mathematics, so I'm working in the Math and Stats department. I did a math degree myself. I just think math is beautiful and worth study just in and of its own right. So I didn't really need a reason to want to study math other than I found it very interesting. If math is not really your thing, like maybe it is, and that's fantastic. We look forward to meeting you and having you as a major. But if not, like your passion might be chemistry or biology or psychology. Math goes well with any science. If you want to take any science to a deep level, so say you have in mind that you might do an undergrad, maybe go into a master's or other graduate program in your field. Eventually, most people in science hit a point where one of the limiting factors on what they can study and how well they can understand their field is the mathematics that they know, because math, of course, is the language that we use in science. So I always recommend to any science major that you consider at least doing a math minor. Some of your programs require, just to study at the undergrad level, require enough mathematics that you're going to get close to a minor anyway. So just keep in mind, if you do plan to go deeper into any science, that you do want to make sure you keep some mathematics with that through your studies. So we offer two major programs in math. We split it into sort of two categories. They don't really reflect what the field is like. I mean, the field is vast and has all, hundreds of areas of study. But we have two programs that we call pure math and applied math. And the general difference, I mean, if, just sort of speaking broadly, I would describe our pure math program as saying, okay, well, math is this big, beautiful thing. Let's look at some key classical areas, subtopics within mathematics, and make sure you get a taste of each of those areas. So you'll get to learn a little bit about topology, a little bit about discrete mathematics, a little bit about analysis, a little bit about some major areas within mathematics. Now, the applied program is more oriented towards, okay, how can we use these things that we're learning in mathematics and developing mathematics? How can we use those things to model real-world phenomena? So, what kind of mathematics do you need to know if you want to formalize, how disease is spread or how fluids flow? So the applied math kind of bumps into a little bit of engineering, a little bit of physics type topics. And so those are more like, let's give you some skills, a lot of computer or computing oriented skills, a lot of differential equations, to be able to give you like a toolkit where then in your final culminating course in your 4th year is a course in mathematical modeling, where you actually have to identify something that can be modeled using mathematics and create that model and do a report on it. So that's kind of the two major programs. Sometimes people say, well, I'm interested in mathematics. I don't know which program I should do. I would say read the course descriptions in the calendar. The university calendar is published online. It's there for a reason. In any courses, you can get a little mini course description and sort of see what speaks to you, what piques your interest. You want to follow at the undergrad level, you kind of do really want to follow your passion. If you try to choose strategically, oh, well, I think this program might be better at getting me a job, you don't know that. The job market changes so quickly. In general, any science undergrad degree is going to open a door for you. Like whether you do pure math or applied math is not really going to make that difference. But if you do the one that you're passionate about and you excel in it and you do really well, that's going to make a big difference to you. So we also offer a minor. Now I'm going to do a screen share and show you where to find information on those programs. Give me a moment. I want to share this. All right, so I hope right now I'm sharing my browser.
We can see that.
Okay, this is Math and Stats. Sorry, I'm getting a massive feedback. Okay, it's quiet now, so I'm going to push ahead. All right, here's our webpage, mun.ca/math. The main tab that you're going to be interested in, I'm just looking at how big this is in my window. Let's see if I can. I cannot see the chat window now, so apologies if you are trying to ask me a question. I'll check it when I go back from the screen. So under the undergraduates tab is where you'll find most of the information relevant to you. The first link is our math and stats programs. So when you look down, there's a massive list of programs that can be done that involve mathematics. There are a number of joint programs between math and other sciences. Joint programs are designed so that if there's two majors that you are interested in, like you could do a double major, that would be just doing both major programs, but that would be a lot of courses, and it may be very difficult to fit into a 4-year program. So your goal should be to finish in 4 years, if at all possible. So the joint sort of puts two programs together, has to take a little bit out from each of the major programs, but tries to emphasize the links between these two programs, and makes it so that you can finish it in a 4-year program. All right, so if you, some of the programs here are clickable, and that's just for our individual programs. We have suggested plans that you can follow for completing the program. Now, that's only one, it's only one suggested pathway. I'm going to share. So when I just clicked on major in pure mathematics, I'll just share that now and show you what you get when you look at that. Adobe Acrobat. Okay. So you can see this this sort of course map mapped out into a 4-year program. Might be hard to read the actual course numbers, not depending on how big your screen is, but the arrows between the courses show the prerequisite relationship between the courses. What you need to do first before you can do the next course. So this kind of, those programs is where those links is where you can go to see, okay, if I want to do an applied math major, how can I go about doing that? How should I plan out my courses? Anyway, take a look at that. Let me know if you are interested in doing math and you have questions about programs, just let me know. I'm going to close that. I want to go back to our web page. How do I do that? Mm-hmm. Oh, that was the stop sharing. Sorry, guys. Okay. So back to our webpage. So that's where you'll find information about our programs. Course descriptions, we have a section on. There's clickable links with all of our courses. There's a little one-pager that's a little bit more fleshed out than the descriptions in the calendar document that the registrar's office publishes. Course schedule. Most of the course schedule information you're just going to find in self-service. Occasionally, we'll need to make an announcement about something, and that's where you'll find it. So for our first year courses this year, which is, I guess, relevant to you folks, for first and second year courses, or the big enrollment classes, we didn't want you to have to attend synchronous lectures sort of, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at a specific time. There's too many people for which the connection, the tech demands to make that happen. Like, things can go wrong and students can miss content. So what we did is we took away the specific times for the lectures each week, and the profs are posting recorded content, so you can stream it or download it at your pleasure. So if your connection is down for some reason, you don't need to worry. You can just get it, in an hour whenever your connection comes back. Now, that being said, there are times when a prof is going to want to be able to meet with people. They might want to host office hours where they know everybody in the class is going to be available if they have a question. They might want to administer a quiz where they know everyone's getting the quiz at the same time. So with each of our sections, we did associate a synchronous time slot, and that's not done through self-service. That's only published through your prof would inform you through Brightspace. It's also listed here on our website under course schedule. So when you see that there's a synchronous slot with your section, that's not for lecturing, that's for other business. I'll just pop back, see if I can pop back to the main interface, see if there's any questions here. Can I do a joint degree in comp sci, physics, and major minor in math? Yes, you can do a joint degree and do a minor in another science. If you're doing a joint honors degree, it becomes difficult to fit the minor in sometimes. But if you wanted to pick up some extra classes during the spring, if you were doing really well in your courses, you could apply to the dean's office for permission to do 6 courses instead of 5. I'd say think very carefully about that. Sometimes, really interested students are like, oh, I want to do this and this and this and this. And I mean, you want to do a degree, do it to the best of your ability in 4 years. If you graduate with good results in a joint honors program, no one's going to look at that and say, oh, but they don't have that minor. Okay? So don't worry too much about collecting lots of programs. Identify the program that you want to do and focus on doing really well in it. For how many credits do I need for a joint degree? The degrees at MUN, there's a little, for the most part, you need 120 credit hours for a degree. And we're trying to structure things so that everything is 120 credit hours. Any degree program that you want to do should be 120 hours. 120 credit hours, that's 40 courses. So that's 5 courses a term for 4 years of fall and winter courses. Now, that being said, there are exceptions. Okay, there's some old relics of our joint honors used to be 5-year programs. Not all of them have been converted down to 4-year programs. So there's some relics in the system, but mostly it's going to be 120 credit hours. So first semester courses like Math 1000, are they going to be pre-recorded or live? For the most part, I can't speak for any other departments. For math, we have asked our instructors to pre-record them and post them because, again, with high enrollments, there's too much of a chance that someone's going to have a tech problem, and then they're going to have to be posted live anyway, so that to make sure people don't miss content. So for math and stats, the lecture portions are going to be pre-recorded. What if the synchronous time for Math 1000 conflicts with other course timing? You're going to have to check with your instructor on that. Some instructors may not have plans to use the synchronous time. Some instructors may say, well, it's going to be a problem, but only once when we have our midterm test. And then you're going to have to figure out, how to do the test at the time that's indicated. So if you have a conflict like that, check with your instructor. If your instructor says, oh, actually, I plan to use that every week for a quiz, then contact me, because you may have to get shifted to another section that fits your schedule. Why are they not live for the people who want to attend live lectures? Well, again, we want to be fair to everyone. Like, live lectures are great. I agree. It is a benefit to have a live experience with your prof and with your class. But if the trade-off is that there's this whole group of students who are disadvantaged because they live in an area with poor internet connectivity, which a lot of rural Newfoundland, the internet connection is not great. I mean, that's just not fair. We need to do things in a way that's going to not disadvantage people in certain locations over others. Yeah, so the live lectures are going to be recorded. Your prof is recording their content, right? But I mean, yeah, but then that would also create scheduling demands. It would, create, artificial scheduling demands that would imply that a section conflicts with another section when really it doesn't. So that's it. That's what we're doing, and we're not changing it. Okay, some of these questions are very, very individual and don't really apply to a lot of people. So I'll say you can email me. Yeah, contact your prof again about any scheduling conflicts to make sure it's not going to be a problem. I'm not going to answer that question. Yeah, sorry. All right, I'm going to continue. Sorry. Some of the questions, again, they seem like I don't think they'd be applicable to the broad audience. So please email me and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. All right, so before I hand over to Dr. Fan to give us some comments on the stats program, I'm also going to make some general announcements about some departmental policies, something that we've been dealing with a lot right now, again, because of tech problems that students have encountered. Deferred exams. What happens if you show up for your final exam and something happens? There is a process for applying for a deferred exam. It has to be done within 48 hours of the actual exam taking place. And the information, the link for applying to that is on our website. Again, under the undergraduate tabs, if you just go to the final exam section, you'll find how to apply for a deferred exam, how to apply for a supplementary exam. What is a supplementary exam, you ask? Some courses that not very many actually, but in normal semesters, if you finish your course and you just failed, you were that close to passing, under certain circumstances, we allow a rewrite. We're not doing that for these remote semesters. Okay, administration of these exams is extremely difficult. It takes a lot more time to coordinate than in a normal on-campus semester. So there's actually not sufficient time to make them happen. So don't depend on supplementary exams in these remote semesters. If you hear, from your buddy who heard from his buddy, oh yeah, math will let you rewrite an exam. No, it's not going to happen. Check our website again for any action, for specific information. Don't just rely on what your buddy told you. Okay, so all the facts are published on our website. Oh, that's a good question. What's the difference between an honors and a major? Okay, so a major will give you, a good experience of what a field of study is about. Okay, so you'll get sort of the big highlights of what students studying chemistry need to know, or what students studying applied math need to know, or statistics, etc. Now, if you're really passionate about a subject and you think you want to go further, you really want to consider doing an honors degree. Most grad programs, and Dr. Fan can correct me if I'm wrong, most grad programs in Canada want to see a student has done sort of the honors option of the degree. And I know that students who apply to Memorial to do grad work in mathematics, if they don't have an honors degree, or that sort of more courses in the area, they might have to do a qualifying year and pick up some extra senior level undergrad courses before you get accepted to a grad program. So the honors program just has more courses, more higher level courses, primarily. So there's you have to know by the end of your second year for sure whether or not you're going to go for the honors, because it's around your fourth semester that you're going to have to really start planning your courses to make sure you have all the prerequisites required for completing all the honors courses in the 4 years. The honors programs have to be done much more tightly because there's more course requirements. So there's less room for you to, like if you miss a prerequisite, to be able to pick up the course later down the road, a little bit later. Research opportunities in the maths department. Yeah, so I'll speak about employment opportunities with the department for our majors. We do hire our majors to assist professors in marking assignments and running tutorials. Generally, the tutorials are, the students we hire for the tutorials are graduate students, but we certainly hire a lot of undergraduate students for marking assignments in the first, second, and third year courses. You do have to be a declared major to be considered. Seniority matters in terms of getting picked for those positions, and your marks matter. All things, being equal, if someone has better marks in a course, they're more likely to get selected to mark for that professor. So the application form for applying for those positions is on our website. You can find it under the undergraduates tab. There's also opportunities for working in the help center. The Math Help Center is staffed by graduate students in our department and also by undergraduate students. The undergrads apply through the MUSEP program, and that's something you really want to know about. In any department, you want to look up MUSEP, or I think for international students, it's ISWEP. These are employment opportunities, part-time employment opportunities for undergraduate students at MUN. You go to their website, all the jobs that are being offered through that program, you can apply through their application. And that's how we staff our help center. Now, to get closer to the question that you asked, which is about research specifically, as you get more senior in your program, so third, fourth year, there are funding opportunities to get paired with a professor to do sort of research, or at least get an introduction to what research is like. So that's, there's NSERC, and then there's another one. Dr. Laredo Ossi, what's the other one in the Faculty of Science? I think you're still muted.
SWAS positions, are you talking about?
No, the Dean of Science positions.
The Sura, yeah.
Yeah. So when you get to be a senior student, you want to look on the Dean of Science webpage for the NSERC and the Sura awards. So by that point in your program, you will have connected with different faculty members. You would have done courses where like, gee, I really like this stuff, and you talk to a faculty member and see, is there any project I could work on in the summer, and sort of find some opportunities that way. And then NSERC or Sura will provide the payment for you to do that work over a summer semester. And those are really nice awards, because in some cases I've seen even undergraduates get papers published in journals based on the work that they've done in those programs. That's pretty rare. Don't feel bad if that doesn't happen, but it can happen. All right. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Laredo Ossi. He's actually the head of our department, and he's dropped in to say hello. And again, specific questions about, I'm seeing a lot of specific questions. I'm going to pass it off now because we're going to run out of time. I want Dr. Fan to talk about statistics a little bit, and give Dr. Laredo Ossi a chance to say hello to everybody. Dr. Fan?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Tara, for the introduction to the beautiful mathematics area and the wide applications of it. But I would say statistics is equally beautiful, and it has very, very important applications as well. And if you think about, let's keep the courses for a while. If you think about a possible career in this area of statistics, I would say every individual organization will need at least one or even more statisticians to support. Like the provincial government, we have a lot of statisticians, insurance company, and medical studies, and other life sciences, and even engineering. They need statistics. And nowadays, everything is controlled by the data, I would say. And the statisticians are the key group of people who deal with the data, and decisions will be made based on that. So you can imagine the job market is very good for statisticians, and is among one of the best during the past few years, quite a few years. Now let's come back to the statistics area. At MOM, we have the math and stats together. Actually, the head of the department is a statistician. I'm happy to tell you that about that. Mathematics and statistics, or statistics and mathematics, have the most or the biggest overlap. This is why statistics belongs to the Department of Mathematics and Statistics. And actually, during the first 2 years, we don't start the very essential statistics courses. In the first year, you have an introduction course, statistics 1510, and from there, you get some sort of motivation and a very broad introduction of the knowledge and the areas where you can apply statistics. And from the second year, we have the 2550 and 2500 as the first statistics course for most of the people. And in the winter semester of the second year, you have the 2410. That's the first essential statistics course if you want to enter the area of statistics. And that course, of course, is very helpful if you want to follow a mathematics major, especially you want to do some sort of stochastic analysis. That's a very beautiful area in a later stage of your study. So for the statistics courses, we usually run a lecture and a few sessions of the lab. The lab sessions are run asynchronously, as you can have a direct communication interaction with the lab instructors. The lectures are pre-recorded, as Tara said already. What else I want to say? If I missed something, I would ask Dr. Loridowski to make it up for me, please. Jesse? Yeah, I'm done.
Dr. Fan, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
The labs for the second year for Stat 2500 and Stat 2550, so the lectures are going to be asynchronous and recorded, but the labs should be, students have to be there at those designated times. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And Dr. Loridowski, would you like to make some comments as on behalf of the department?
I would like to welcome you, all of you, and I know being a student in these times, this COVID times, it may be a little bit challenging. It may be forced us to do things in different ways that we are learning. We as instructors, as professors, as teachers are learning the same way that you are learning. So this is a learning experience for all of us. It's not going to be easy. We will try to make everything possible so that the quality of the education that you receive will be the best that we can, because we are committed to prepare you the best that we can for the best of your careers. Your careers are as important to us as our job, because that's what we live for, and that's the only thing they want to make you sure that the department and the Faculty of Science is going to make all the commitment to provide you with the best education that you can receive given the circumstances. Now, regarding the USR, the SUR and the USR research, because I was asked, yeah, those are great opportunities for students who get to major in stats or math, to do research and full-time research and paid research. And as Tara mentioned, there are opportunities even to publish there. But even for your career, it's very important. Most of the students who have those rewards are very likely to be favored, look favorable to encircle awards for postgraduate work. So the trying to get this kind of awards makes opens more opportunities for a career after the bachelor's. Yeah, and again, I am a head of department whose doors of the office are open. Maybe not, building is not open right now, but my email is available. My secretary's email is available, and we are open to hear and to provide the best education that we can provide you with. Thank you.
Carter, I feel like we've given kind of a crash course in the department. I'm happy to stick around for questions. If you have any questions, or if anyone here would like to vocalize a question as opposed to typing it in the chat window.
Yeah, I think that was amazing. I don't have any questions for either of you three. I thought that you were very thorough. But if anybody else has any questions, you can toss them down in the chat.
I can make comments about how tests will be conducted, but it's still not. I mean, we put a proposal in to say how we would like to conduct our tests, and so we don't have the answer back yet to say yes or no. So we're a little bit hesitant to say for sure. Our goal is to be able to use online proctoring. So we want to use let you write your test in the comfort of your home. We like the pencil and paper test experience. We think that that's valuable for students. So, what we're trying to make work is to use your webcam to just observe you as if you were in the exam room. Now, there's a lot of technical challenges with that. It's, when you start thinking about it, there's lots of, reasons why it's not as easy to just do that. So we're thinking through the logistics around that, and we're really optimistic that we'll have something in place to allow us to let you do that, have that experience. The final exam in a course is so important for giving you that milestone to solidify your knowledge, like to review everything you've learned in the semester and really make sure that you have it. And where these low-level math courses, like the first and second year math and stats courses, are so necessary for a lot of different things in different, engineering courses, science courses, math courses that come later, you need the opportunity to pull everything together and make sure you get it. So we think that we're hoping to get information on that soon. And as soon as it's approved, the details will be shared through your course shells in Brightspace.
Okay, I would like to answer the question, why should I do a minor in maths? First of all, it has to be because you like it. If you don't like it, don't do it, okay? And once that you like it, to have done a minor in maths or a major in maths will open you many opportunities. Numeracy is a skill to have in any profession that you have, and any math.
Pull everything together and make sure you get it. So we think that's really valuable, and we're hoping to have more information on that soon. And as soon as it's approved, the details will be shared through your course shells in Brightspace.
Okay, I would like to answer the question, why should I do a minor in maths? First of all, it has to be because you like it. If you don't like it, don't do it, okay? And once that you like it, to have done a minor in maths or a major in maths will open you many opportunities. Numeracy is a skill to have in any profession that you have, and any math extra that you have, even if you are not a mathematician, you are an engineer, a biologist, a physicist, a chemist. If you have mathematical skills or statistical skills, you are adding value to your degree. Extra that you have, even if you are not a mathematician, you are an engineer, a biologist, a physicist, a chemist. If you have mathematical skills or statistical skills, you are adding value to your degree.
Yeah, absolutely. Like at some point, you're going to get to a point in your physics where knowing more mathematics is just going to make you a better physicist, or whatever science that you're doing. We get a lot. Yeah, absolutely. Like at some point, you're going to get to a point in your physics where knowing more mathematics is just going to make you a better physicist, or whatever science that you're doing. We get lots of inquiries from engineering students who, the focus there, like they use a lot of mathematics, but the focus on learning it is different. And sometimes they're like, you know what, to go further in this electrical engineering field, I really need to understand where this differential equation. Lots of inquiries from engineering students who, the focus there, like they use a lot of mathematics, but the focus on learning it is different. And sometimes they're like, you know what, to go further in this electrical engineering field, I really need to understand where this differential equation stuff is coming from. So they, during their work terms, or if they take a semester off, they pop over and do a few math courses. So, it's just a smart thing for any science student to consider. The other two things I would say, echoing Dr. stuff is coming from. So they, during their work terms, or if they take a semester off, they pop over and do a few math courses. So, it's just a smart thing for any science student to consider. The other two things I would say, echoing Dr. Fan, is that statistics is incredibly relevant in today's world. It's always good to toss in, more stats is always better than less stats. And computer programming. As any science student, really, one of your goals during your undergrad is that statistics is incredibly relevant in today's world. It's always good to toss in, more stats is always better than less stats. And computer programming. As any science student, really, one of your goals during your undergrad degree should be make sure I know how to program in at least one language, like in some rudimentary way, by the time I finish my degree. You don't need an advanced course, but everybody undergrad degree should be make sure I know how to program in at least one language, like in some rudimentary way, by the time I finish my degree. You don't need an advanced course, but everybody, even if it's not required in your program, should be doing something like Comp 1001, where you get sort of an intro course in how to program, because that's another basic skill that, just like mathematics, is going to make you better at whatever else it is you're doing. Even if it's not required in your program, should be doing something like Comp 1001, where you get sort of an intro course in how to program, because that's another basic skill that, just like mathematics, is going to make you better at whatever else it is you're doing.
Maths and computer science. There is a lot of relationship in computer science and math, and depending upon about what kind of computer science are you talking about. You're talking about artificial intelligence, maths and computer science. There is a lot of relationship in computer science and math, and depending upon about what kind of computer science are you talking about. You're talking about artificial intelligence. Well, the foundation of artificial intelligence is mathematics, is logic, okay? But most scientific computing requires to have a very high level of skills of numeracy. You need to know very well through numerical. Well, the foundation of artificial intelligence is mathematics, is logic, okay? But most scientific computing requires to have a very high level of skills of numeracy. You need to know very well through numerical methods. You need to know your linear algebra, your calculus, everything, so that when you are doing your programming as a computer scientist, you are not bound by methods. You need to know your linear algebra, your calculus, everything, so that when you are doing your programming as a computer scientist, you are not bound by technical resources. It's only your skill as a programmer, the one who made you better. Now, as a mathematician or as a statistician, why computer programming, what computer skills are important? Because they buy technical resources. It's only your skill as a programmer, the one who made you better. Now, as a mathematician or as a statistician, why computer programming, what computer skills are important? Because then you will be able to develop your own methods, and you will not depend on somebody to implement them. You will have somehow, at some point, you will, if you want to do it in a big scale, yes, you may need to collaborate with. You will be able to develop your own methods, and you will not depend on somebody to implement them. You will have somehow, at some point, you will, if you want to do it in a big scale, yes, you may need to collaborate with someone. But to do your experiments, to do your computer experiments, to do your simulations, to do the things, you need to be able to write. You need to be able to write your own code. You need to be able to be fluent in at least someone. But to do your experiments, to do your computer experiments, to do your simulations, to do the things, you need to be able to write. You need to be able to write your own code. You need to be able to be fluent in at least one language. Right now, I will not recommend you any language, but there are some that are kind of the ones that are becoming not only popular because they are popular in the sense of in the sense that many people use them. They are popular because they are very relevant for the new science. Perl, R, JavaScript are the ones who came to my mind as not only with many users, but programs that really can be used to solve everyday problems.
Any other questions?
Couple questions that I saw coming in. Are there any job opportunities for people aspiring to become pure mathematicians? Of course, but I'll let the mathematicians answer that question.
Yeah. I can speak to some of the experience I see with people who finish and move on to other things. But then, hopefully Dr. Laredo Asti or Dr. Fan can comment. I mean, things are so specialized in the world today that, it's not often that you're going to see someone hiring, oh, I want a pure mathematician. Usually it's, I want, a group homology, blah, blah, blah specialist for something. It's very specific. So generally, like if your goal is, okay, I want to do an undergrad degree, I love math, I'm going to do a math major, then I want to get out into the workforce and find myself a good job. If that's your goal, like a lot of the jobs you're applying for would be, oh, we're looking to hire either a mathematician or, a statistician, or, there's some flexibility. So again, it's not, they're not going to say no to someone with an applied math major, because there's someone with a pure math major there generally, right? Like generally you're on the same sort of level, but there are lots of opportunities there. Like to be a pure mathematician, when someone says that to me, I'm thinking, okay, that's a faculty member. For that, you need a PhD. So you'd be going further into mathematics and you'd have these higher level qualifications. But for someone coming out with an undergrad math degree, I see people getting hired by insurance companies, by banks, by oil companies. There's a lot of demand for people who are, very logical thinkers, analytic thinkers, who are really good with numbers. If that's you, not everybody has that skill or that passion, and not everyone's going to develop it over the next 4 years. So there's value in that. Again, I would say to add to your resume to make you an even more attractive job candidate in those types of jobs, a little bit of computer programming, some statistics. Like that will always, I think, help your application for them to see that you had that exposure as well. But hunting for, no one's going to, you're not going to open the paper. Well, no one's going to open the paper now anyway, but you're not going to go online to a job site and say, wanted, student with undergraduate pure math major degree. That's going to be hard to find. But there's going to be a lot of opportunities if you hunt where all they're looking for is anyone with an undergrad degree, but it's a job that you are kind of interested in. And then you convince them, that that your degree is a great background for this job. Dr.
Yeah,
Lewandowski?
and again, the debate of what is a pure mathematician in the 21st century is something to be debated. Because when I was a child, when I was your age, for example, topology was a pure science. And right now, is one of the more relevant, computational topology is one of the more relevant applied sciences. But you need to know topology. You need to know the same level of pure topology that was required when I was a student. So no, I don't think it's pure mathematics. When somebody calls pure mathematician, when somebody calls himself pure mathematician, you should very much think not in terms of purity, but in terms of the kind of love and the kinds of beauty that you see in mathematics. Mathematics are beautiful, and people can find a lot of beauty in them, and because of that, they also enjoy to do it. But any mathematics can be applied. Any mathematics is very can be as pure as you want. If you hate to do work that dirts your hands, or as applied as you can use it to solve real problems. You can solve intellectual problems. You can solve real problems. There is the boundary between pure and applied, or pure and interdisciplinary, and those sort of things is disappearing with the years. People, students now, professionals now tend to be more like Renaissance people, because that's what the market demands. People needs to know a lot of stuff, needs to be a well-rounded scientists or professionals. If they want to be successful, they need to be well-rounded.
I'm not seeing any more questions. Sorry, my throat's dry. So I think if there's any more questions, you can drop it down below. Is there any possibility to conduct CPT? I'm not sure what that acronym is. I apologize.
Yeah, that's the calculus placement test.
Oh.
For now, while we're still in this restricted period of not being able to administer on-campus exams, most of these sort of optional exams, unfortunately, we can't do. So no, at this point right now, we can't do it. The next one that I foresee happening wouldn't be till June, which is not really going to help anybody here. You know, yeah, I'm sorry that realistically, I think that's the next time it's going to happen. I'll put my email address in the window, and I can certainly be found through the Math Department website. Please contact me if you have more questions.
Yeah, and I think that brings us just about to quarter two, so we're right on time for that. Thank you so much, Ms. Stockless, Dr. Lewandowski, and Dr. Fan for coming over and giving those presentations and answering any questions from students. And with that, I think that's where we will leave it. If anybody missed the first half or whatnot, if you came in late, this recording is going to be available in your orientation Brightspace shell. But thank you all. Have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you all for showing up.
Thanks, Carter.